Sanbonani Kaya. Everybody. Yebo. Yes. Njan. My people. Ramp Nation. Usually I don't comment in politics in depth. I do speak a bit here, a bit there. But today I have to talk to. I have lived in South Africa and I'm part of South Africa, history of South Africa, people and family. It's quite pity and sad when we see the giants of politics start and fight each other. But what is quite interesting is the fact we saw this case in Bloemfontein, ANC versus MK. Lalela, my people. We have to understand the history of ANC never been that great a history that a lot of us thought and many people said ANC was bringing to us the best of the best. We have seen more than 20 years how the ANC has failed. We have seen how the ANC has become a corrupt machine. Basically, it is a machine of corruption, not a machine to bring the citizens happiness and better days, special work and good life standards. We saw a lot of projects. We saw the RDPs and so forth comes, but we saw also the decline of the rand and unemployment rates. So when you see this fight between ANC and MK at Bloemfontein court, it's quite evident something is wrong in South Africa, big time. Well, why the ANC react so late? There is a question for you. You going on the bus, you wake up in the morning, go find yourself something to eat, bread and butter to feed your kids. Well, the rise of Jacob Zuma is a very important key of everything. Why Jacob Zuma comes out and support MK. That's what you need to put in mind. Why the ANC does not spell Jacob Zuma. Well, if you remember the elections of Jacob Zuma in Limpopo and Polokwane, the fight between Mbeki and Zuma, this year of history has been there forever. Remember when they went in jail, Mbeki and Zuma at Swaziland? The story was being told here. So from those days until up to today, many people undermined Jacob Zuma. They thought Jacob Zuma was never able to come back or do some difference. They tried to put him in jail. They tried to manipulate him. But it's not the Jacob Zuma factor here. Here is the Zulu story. Who the Zulus, where they come, where they going. If the ANC never been able to control the Zululand, Limpopo, Mpumalanga, Caroline, Newcastle, all these areas in their favor, it tells you that the ANC have a problem. If you can't, even in Mpumalanga, Witbank, make a difference. So it tells you something is rotten with the ANC. On the court, what we saw MK being represented by a very strong advocate that I congratulate him highly. But we see the ANC being represented by a weak individual with no reputation at all to argument the facts. And then this individual, if you go online, investigate who is all about his story on the advocacy world. So I ask myself here, Where are those big fat cats of the ANC? They eat the big monies, they threaten us. Even they rob us when we work for them, we build for them. Those lawyers who they send these letters, we gonna do you this and that, where they are, why they didn't be in there in Bloemfontein? Well, they don't want to waste their time because they're too fat, even if they can't walk their belly to the courts. So what he tells you, the MK is the solution. Is a question I'm putting to you. No, the MK is not the solution, but the MK is a proof that South Africa needs a change. And who's going to do the change? Is you, your vote. We have to get out of our mentality, the skin of our color, the reasons of privileges and everything. No, we have to be selfish. As an individuals, as South Africans living together, we need to understand it's not about color, it's not about privilege, it's about dignity. If we are able to provide our families with the best, we need to be able to provide our country also with the best. You might be saying, oh, but you are not from South Africa. Yes, indeed, I'm not for South Africa. But my blood is spelling for South African. Be what is South African today? Not only my, thousands and thousands of people around the world, even in this country where I live today. People spill blood in the streets. Don't be so narrow-minded, think the freedom of South Africa only was the South Africans, Steve Biko's and others' blood. No, Nelson Mandela blood. No. Many whites, Indians, Russians, you name it, Canadians, Brazilians, British, people fight for the freedoms that we enjoy today in South Africa. So, this MK party have the right to exist. The ANC must stop, behave like Frelimo, like Zano, or like Mpela. Brothers and sisters, look what's going on in Mozambique. Look what's going on in Zim. Look what's going on in Angola. Is enough. Ask yourselves if we want to live in a country like those, where violence and conflict is a daily bread. We have to understand politics is not majority. Majority always bring chaos. When I see Jacob Zuma these days interacting with Afrikaners, I've come to this sense that Afrikaners, they will be in South Africa for years and years until Jesus came. Like he said on his own words, the ANC only gonna lose when Jesus come. And Jesus has come for the ANC. That is Jacob Zuma. On his own prophecy. So, what I'm trying to tell you, the nonsense we saw in court in Bloemfontein, weak legal representative from ANC, sends a message that we have a crisis. We see the parliament speaker, her house been raided. You should start question. That was not the same charge that brought it against Jacob Zuma. Why this woman now was a defense minister, now have similar charges? So means South Africa is too rich. There is too much money, and that money is on the few people like us that we say brothers. We praise them like gods, but end the day, they're evils. Believe me, what we saw is a message to you as an adult person that it's time to you put your hand in your mind and say, oh my Lord, this is not take me no way. There is no jobs. There is nothing. The country is just engulfed in violence and gangs, and how the country can change. South Africa can change in only one way: bring together the different parties in the parliament, respect each other, and find a mutual consensus and agree that all of us are not above the law. The law are not only for Africans, black skin. No, the law is for every single human. The benefits cannot be reaped for certain groups because the majority, because in the past the minority exploited. No, we have to spread across. We have a problem in South Africa, but a very good example that is possible. The Oranians. What's happened in Oranians is a shock and surprise. So much things happen in the positive that I ask even myself, how is possible they can organize themselves and earn a living, and we the majority, we can't even clean our yards and put bread and butter on our tables. And few bunch of people on the middle of desert can transform a desert and earn bread and butter. Brothers and sisters, this is your time. Believe me, to make change. The ANC is not the solution. Time is over. Thank you. Bye.